Hello to you, this is The Chew, and we have a great show for you, including the Israeli company that is going to make eBay predict what you want to buy, the people who are suing Facebook and might just win, and so much more. Let's go. We never thought we'll say this, but this week's biggest story is Pokemon. It's been less than a week since Pokemon Go was launched on July 6th, and it's already raking up as one of the biggest hits in recent years. It's already got more users than Tinder, which means more people want to catch Pokemons than a date. It's also closing in on Twitter fast. Pokemon Go has boosted the market value of Nintendo by $9 billion in just a few days. What is it and why are people going crazy for it? So many stories on Pokemon Go, and we want to catch them all with Sam Israel. Good evening.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Good evening.
Yeah, so this happened really fast. 3 days ago, this dude I work with was like, do you want to catch a Pokemon? And I was like, who are you? What do you want? Go away. And he was right, and I still don't understand what it's all about.
I think what's going on right now is, at least with a lot of people, is that Pokemon is a part of a lot of people's childhoods. It's definitely a part of mine. I played the original Game Boy games and I watched the TV series. But when I was a kid, my sister and I, we would constantly just pretend to go and catch Pokemon out in our backyard. And this game essentially lets you do that. It lets you go out, wander around, and you are in this augmented reality world catching Pokemon. It's kind of one of the best things to ever happen for someone's childhood. It's just reliving.
So let me ask you a few questions, because it was not part of my childhood.
Okay.
So the show itself, did it have anything to do with sending you to your backyard? So does that mean people did it in masses?
It didn't have to do. The show was about one kid just going on this giant journey to across the world, just catching Pokemon and battling other trainers. And there was just something very cool about it. It was these creatures that were adorable yet were ferocious at the same time. And what happened was everyone just thought that it was so cool. There are no creatures in real life that are adorable yet can shoot fire from their mouths. But in Pokemon that can happen, and it just took everyone's breath away when it was introduced to America, and it definitely took mine away when I was a kid.
I think with this description, let's take a moment to see a bit of how it looks like for whoever doesn't know for some reason. Okay, so it sends people to the streets.
Yeah, this game has all these Pokemon just set wildly around on your map. And people go out where they want to if they see a Pokemon that is of interest to them. They're searching around and they try to go catch it. And they can go anywhere. There are water Pokemon actually more popularly located at the water. There are some Pokemon that just go out at night. So there have actually been stories of people walking around at 1 o'clock a.m. just searching for Pokemon. It's just, I'm amazed at how much this is done, but I'm not surprised that if it were to be a game this popular, it would be Pokemon.
You know, what surprises me is that the whole gaming industry is based on sitting in your home, eating and playing mostly alone. This is super active.
It definitely is. It is a game where you're definitely going out and about. People are walking around much more than they would if they were just playing a regular game. I think this is actually not the first game that has done augmented reality. This was done by a studio called Niantic Labs, who came out with an augmented reality game called Ingress back in 2012. And it had a lot of similar things going on it. In fact, people go out to certain points in Pokemon Go, and these points were created by players in Ingress. Now, there are a lot of similarities, but the fact that it's just this phenomenon and it's this cultural icon, such as Pokemon, Ingress only had 7 million downloads in the 3 years that it was in its prime. Pokemon Go has only been out for about 5-6 days. It hasn't even been released in Asia and Europe. It's not even released here. It's only been released in America, Australia, and New Zealand. And over 10 million people have downloaded it. As you said, it has surpassed Tinder. It is even getting more searches on Google than pornography. There was a tweet out by YouPorn actually congratulating Pokemon Go for breaking the internet, so to speak. I'm surprised, but yet again, if it were anything, augmented reality, I think, is a great start. It is started very well with Pokemon Go, in my opinion.
Another technical question, and the promo we're seeing now right next to your face, which we saw a second ago, they throw it with their hands. Is that how you actually do it, or with your phone?
It doesn't.
How do you catch them?
This trailer, when I saw it, I was very, very overwhelmed and excited about it. The way it works is you just get your phone and you kind of flick, similar to an primitive like paper toss games that they had on the iPhone, where you just flicked a piece of paper into a trash can. It's very, very similar to that. And when you see a Pokemon, you do that, and depending on your aim and your accuracy and your technique, so to speak, you catch it. There's also other parts of this game where you go out and you find gyms. The best part, I think, about this game is actually the gym aspect, where you go out and you're kind of in these town squares that you can sort of be kind of the king of the hill. You battle someone else's Pokemon, and if you beat it, you become that gym leader. And someone then has to battle you to get that gym. And it's kind of cool in a weird sense, being sort of like the king of a hill in an area that you are so familiar with. These are at landmarks all across the United States and Australia. Anywhere from a library to the Washington Capitol is a gym as well. It's crazy.
Okay, well, thank you, World, for evolving. And thank you very much, Sam, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, last weekend, a group of Israeli developers and entrepreneurs gathered together to talk about space, or more specifically, space studies. So when will we take Israel outside of the realms of Earth? More in this next report by Mai Palti.
We're at the moment in Google campus at the first Israeli hackathon for space education. There are around 120 people here. This is the first time that we're doing it. 40 people who are leading the Israeli space industry, engineers from the industry, 40 researchers, and 40 excellent, outstanding teachers.
Space is considered as something that is really remote, untouchable, and I think through space, we, for example, in the Ramon Foundation, we encourage kids to dream about the impossible and to accomplish it. Actually, originally the event wasn't for kids, and we got so many applications from young kids that want to participate in the hackathon, and they had amazing ideas.
I saw that there is a group about creating now settlements in Mars, and I saw that girls' group is going to fly rockets to space, and it's really exciting.
We're trying to create classes that will be between 4 and 8 weeks of learning within the PBL, project-based learning method, and creates a mission for the students where the teacher is not the center anymore, but the students are leading themselves, responsible, making decisions.
We basically take already made apps in the App Store made by NASA or made by self-developers, and we will use these apps to make a new way of study.
In Israel, there's a very slight chance of students really finding a way to get into space. Don't have to be an astronaut. That's the only thing people usually think of.
But what about aliens?
I know the head of NASA, and I asked him the same question. I asked Mr. Bolden, are there any aliens? Well, he said no.
They might be there. I'm happy to meet one. They might be with us today.
No aliens? Come on. Okay, it seems that almost every week someone else is suing Facebook, but this time they might have a case. For more on this complicated story, we turn to the smartest man around, Daniel Roth. Hello.
Good day.
Good day. So let's start from the beginning. What's the story?
The story is essentially 5 families of American, primarily, and dual citizen victims of terror are suing Facebook for $1 billion. So that's, first of all, not even a dollar for each member of Facebook, each user of Facebook, but it's $1 billion. It's an enormous amount of money, and there is a chance that they could win. Shorat Adin, which is an Israeli organization that has for years been taking up the cause of suing terrorist organizations, is leading this lawsuit, and the suit was filed in New York. Facebook is, of course, an American-based company. So a lot of people are saying this has a chance of winning.
But what are the details of the specific suit?
So they're saying that Facebook is responsible for the speech, for terrorist speech on the platform. They're saying that Facebook, when Hamas makes a plan or makes a call to incite people to violence, that Facebook is responsible because they're the platform that is hosting this speech. So Shorat Adin, the organization, they're essentially saying Facebook acts like a bank acts, and banks are culpable for transferring money, for example, to terrorist organizations. So they're saying that Facebook is culpable for the speech the way that a bank is culpable for the money. And this actually has some legs to walk on in the U.S. because if you remember just a few years ago, the Citizens United case in the Supreme Court essentially determined that in the United States, money is speech. So they've equated at the level of the Supreme Court kind of the idea of spending money and the idea of speech. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see an argument like that in the court.
It sounds like an episode of The Good Wife.
Absolutely.
I have to say, Alicia, come and save Facebook. But I'm assuming there were different attempts and approaches to go at Facebook. So what has changed? What you just described?
Well,
what were the former approaches that failed?
Well, look, I think that the major thing here is that this is all happening within a single jurisdiction, and that jurisdiction is the U.S. The suit was filed in the U.S. People from all over the world sue Facebook on a regular basis for a slew of different reasons. This is a seasoned organization, 5 families that have suffered great loss. Something that the mood in the United States is highly against, which is sort of incitement to violence, particularly of this kind. And this suit is focusing on Hamas in particular, which is considered in the United States as well as Canada and the European Union to be a terrorist organization. So if everything from the money is speech argument to who they're saying Facebook is helping that will help to sway the mood. And I really, it's very, very early in the process, but I wouldn't be surprised at all, if this really carries through and Facebook finds itself losing $1 billion suit about their responsibility. Now, there's a
but
great...
I think it's not, but you know what? I don't think it's really about the money. I mean, they'll survive even this 1 billion. Can we try and imagine the world of Facebook after it loses this case? I mean, what will have to change? How will it look like?
This is the big deal. We're talking about, the question here is free speech. It's, and, again, this is all happening in America, which has had before, the last couple of decades, kind of a no-holds-barred approach to free speech. Everything goes with very, very tiny limits. Which is unlike a country like Canada, for example, where I come from, where there are limits. There's certain things determined hate speech that are illegal to say. But in the U.S., historically, free speech was the bottom line. And Facebook is now facing a reality where they can no longer sort of look to that ethic as their baseline for going forward around the world. They're going to have to reorganize themselves to self-police what's going on for, as I started with, for 1.5 billion users, for a huge chunk of the world.
It's a huge chunk of the world. Okay, we have to finish. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
When will this story end? Like 6 months? 3 years?
It's going to take many, many months. At least, at the minimum.
Okay, thank you, Daniel Roth.
Thank you.
And short break, and the second part of our show is right to come. See you soon. Hello, thank you for coming back to the Tube, and now it's time to predict the future. eBay is acquiring Israeli company Sales Predict, which uses advanced analytics to predict consumer buying behavior. Financial terms of the deal were not disclosed, but sources estimate that the acquisition was for about $40 million. The acquisition is eBay's latest move to build up its machine learning capabilities in order to clean up its vast product catalog. eBay has more than 900 million listings, and Sales Predict will assist the company in deciding why those listings end up at a certain price. To understand some more about Sales Predict, let's see their pitch video before we talk to Kira Radinsky of the company.
What if you could easily see who's most likely to buy? Who's ready for an upsell or cross-sell, and who's at risk to churn? That's what Sales Predict does, using the power of predictive analytics. How does it work? Sales Predict continuously analyzes your sales wins and losses to understand what really leads to a conversion. We consider your internal data plus millions of external data points to provide insight into both the companies and the people you want to reach. We look at who your prospects are, which companies they're from, the positions they hold, the time they've spent on your website, what they're reading online, what they're posting in social media, and many other hidden buying signals. Using machine learning, Sales Predict's algorithms look for patterns in all this data to uncover your microsegments of success. Then, we enrich your data and deliver you accurate, predictive lead and account scores, insights into why someone's ready to buy or churn, plus recommended actions for your team.
We have on the phone Kira Radinsky, co-founder at CTO at Sales Predict. Good evening.
Hello, everybody.
Hi. So based on your skills and technology, what's the first question I'm going to ask you?
Probably what the company is doing and how we're going to integrate with eBay.
Yeah, I think we're going to arrive to eBay in a minute. Let's start with how did Sales Predict start?
So our vision was to try to build a system that can take our predictive analytics capabilities into the business world. We actually wanted to be able to predict any potential business deal and predict whether it's going to happen or not based on historical data and all the open source data that we can collect about those deals from the web. From how much money this potential company is making to what the news is saying about them, and correlating that with the historical wins and losses of the companies we've been working with.
Interesting. And how long did it take to get to this algorithms, to this to the product you've just sold?
So it's an ongoing work. We are continuing to improve it all the time. The company has been around for 4 years, and I can only say that we continue improving the algorithms throughout the entire period. On average, we manage to more than double the conversion rates for our customers in a B2B scenario.
Interesting. And who does all the collecting of the data from, like we saw in the promo, it's basically all my data?
So we're working on the scenario where a company is trying to sell to another company. And there's so much information about companies online, from information about the news that we collect, from information that we buy from other companies that give us information about what those companies are reading about online. We're getting information from the company's website, etc.
Interesting. So let's talk about eBay. How was the connection made?
Well, we were very focused on the execution of what we were doing, and we met with Amit Menipaz, who's the VP of Structured Data Division in eBay, and we just connected. We just saw how the vision that we have for pushing macro and microeconomic predictions for businesses is actually very applicable to the vision that the Structured Data Initiative has. What they're trying to do is bring change to the way business is done in the eBay ecosystem, both for the seller and the buyer, providing them much more structured data that will enable search, better pricing, better experience that can actually drive more business. But for that, you need abilities to predict. And all this data collection and the prediction algorithms that we've developed were a really good fit.
Yeah, for the average consumer, what does that mean? I mean, how does eBay knowing how to predict things, prices, going to affect me as a consumer?
So as a seller, you'll be able to get insights such as if you have a certain bag and you're trying to sell it, you better get more supply of smaller bags with leather and maybe less supply of other bags because those bags sell better based on the experience that we had across many sellers. For the consumer, it will actually provide them much better inventory that's recommended to them in a much more fair price. But one of the things we want to do is actually reach to the fairest price, both for the seller and the buyer. So we'll have an experience where you're getting much better products in a better price, and you'll be able to get better recommendations, better search capabilities, everything that when we have the structured data in line is actually enabling us to do.
Yeah, interesting. You know, a moment of honesty here. I've heard of you a while ago, and I think many people that heard of you and heard of your technology abilities and your whole philosophy around it, you know, we were hoping that you're going to change the world, if not save it. Medical trends, natural disasters, global politics. How come you ended up with a commercial company?
So I still dream the same dreams and still work in both the medical domain, and we do continue to work with the UN. And when I say we, is mostly my group in the university, the Technion. We continue to do a lot of pro bono activities, trying to leverage the information that the different HMOs and hospitals have in Israel to build personalized medicine solutions, actually predicting for each person what's the probability of them having cancer, which medicines they need to take, and getting this to preventive medicine. In addition to that, we continue to work with the UN about terror prediction, etc. Self-predict is only one layer of what I envision for the change I want to bring. The economic layer of predictions is actually the skeleton that the world rides on. We always make this joke in the company that, well, it's a joke, remember, but it takes only one economic hypothesis to win a Nobel Prize. But if you build a system that thinks about thousands of hypotheses a second, maybe eventually you'll get a really good one. Well, I'll tell you, we didn't get a really good hypothesis economically. We didn't get a Nobel Prize. But the concept of getting a system thinking for itself and actually bringing all these hypotheses, both in medicine and economy and international relations. It's actually super exciting, and I still think we can bring this change.
Cool. Kira, you rock. Thank you very much for talking with us.
Definitely have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Farming is at an abysmal state, and most of us do not know how to farm ourselves and rely on big manufacturers for our food. That's why entrepreneur Rory Aronson has developed the world's first open source farming machine. The FarmBot Genesis is made from 3D printable plastic components and can be used to remotely plant, water, and monitor a garden. The kit is an autonomous machine that's installed atop and around a small garden. Once built, Genesis performs nearly the entire gardening process prior to harvesting, including planting the seeds, watering each plant precisely, and on a set schedule and monitoring conditions. Can this be the future of private gardening? Here is the machine at work.
3 years ago, I had an idea for a new paradigm of food production. The idea lies at the intersection of automation, the open source DIY maker movement, and small-scale polycrop farming. And over the last 3 years, a small, dedicated team and I have been working to make this idea a reality. Introducing FarmBot Genesis, humanity's first open source CNC farming machine. FarmBot moves around in the XYZ space, day and night, 7 days a week, growing food for you, just the way you want it to be grown. FarmBot precisely sows seeds in any pattern and density you want, and then waters them efficiently, the exact amount that each plant needs based on its type, its age, soil conditions, the local weather, and your growing preferences. FarmBot can grow a wide variety of crops all in the same area at the same time, while each plant is cared for individually in an optimized, automated way.
And now it's time to go viral with our very own private hot mess, my party.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm very good. I have a question for you.
Ask.
Do you like pranks?
No.
You don't?
No.
Okay, so this video is not for you.
Okay.
But maybe you will like
it. It's for
it.
the rest of the world. Let's take a look.
Oh my God, I would love to sleep with that. Where'd you get that?
This is, honestly, it is a great
Is this
night's
Kathmandu?
sleep. It's waterproof.
Beautiful.
-3 degrees.
Absolutely. Can I get inside?
Yeah, go.
Would you look at this big pile of shit?
Yeah, I've been digging through.
Where'd you get this? Where'd you get this, man? Is this manure?
From a pony car.
It stinks.
Yeah,
it really stinks.
It would. It would. It's poo. Oh my God, you are so hot. You are so hot.
Dude,
do you want me to take some clothes off of you?
Big time.
Do you want me to take some clothes off?
Absolutely. Just take this off.
I'll take the gloves.
Get it all off. Are you a pothead?
What?
A pothead?
Yeah.
No, this guy.
I was born like this.
What are you doing here? Please leave. Potheads, man. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Oh my God, you are such a loser.
Oh, that's a bit harsh. Second place isn't quite losing.
Tough mudder?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. We can't all be winners, man.
Don't be mad.
As a person in this world, you find this funny?
Well, I have to say that as long as it's viral, I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's not funny. I wouldn't sit at home and laugh about it hysterically, but it's not bad.
Okay.
It's a little bit
You have friends that would
sophisticated.
actually do things like that because they thought it was funny enough to
Probably not.
create.
I think I'm older than that age.
Okay.
But you really hated it so much?
No, I was just like completely indifferent to it. This is stupid and a bit sexist.
No, because it was also guys involved.
Yeah, but why should a woman walking the street feel
know,
like
it's
she's
like-
I'm violated? Oh no, it's not me. It's something behind me.
I guess it's like British skater boys kind of thing, you know, being a skater.
British skater boys, of course. Okay.
British skater boys kind of thing.
Okay.
So the next video is a very beautiful video by Russ Kasanov. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's an amazing artist doing stuff with technology. Let's take a look.
Let's. It's like a unicorn dreaming.
That one you liked, right?
Yes, because I'm, you know.
Because you're a unicorn.
Yes.
So here we can see sprinkles, the sweet kind of sprinkles,
Okay.
basically emerging into liquid, we can say, or melting. It's amazing. Very, very, very closed up shot. 61 million plays in 2 months.
Yeah, everybody's a unicorn.
Everybody likes sprinkles.
Yes.
What can you do about it? And the next video is about hamsters.
Her.
That one you like too.
A hamster drawing a hamster for our own entertainment.
It's a philosophical question
Yeah.
by Neil Mendoza, also a digital artist. Very
We
nice.
like them. We like you too. Thank you very much,
you.
my Palte. Thank you, hamster. Sorry that you are entertainment for us humans. And thanks, human, for watching our show. We'll be back next week at I24news.tv. Thanks for watching.